This is CTC News with Wesley Qatar, broadcasting from Sint-Eustatius, Dutch Caribbean. Sponsored by UTLNV, Kodo's Purchasing Services, and Duggins Shopping Center.
It's Friday, June 28, 2013 on the Golden Rock. Good evening, I am Wesley Qatar and this is CTC News broadcasting live from CTC Studios at Statius Mall. In tonight's local news, Adventist School holds graduation, Sint-Eustatius to host conference on tourism sustainability, meeting on school renovation projects. Details in local news right after this.
All I know is hustle and that motivation. So I'm on my grind like it's an obligation. And I was down before in countless situations. I just got my cap and now I fly like there's no gravitation. Came from the bottom and I saw that I'ma make it up. And all this work keep paying off if you don't give it up. I remember when I just kept on slipping up. And now I hear a beat and now all I do is rip it up. And I'ma get what's mine, tell them G'd up cause I'm on that grind. All I know is going hard cause you don't grind and you don't shine. Lot of people got the chance but they got intercepted. I don't let haters take me down, I stay protected.
Coming soon to Sint-Eustatius, 3 daily flights to St. Kitts and return every week. Services to St. Martin via Anguilla with free stopover in Anguilla. Charter services will also be available. More information coming soon to CTC TV and CTC Radio. Brought to you by Trans Anguilla.
CTC News, sponsored by UTLNV, Kodo's Purchasing Services, and Duggins Shopping Center.
The Sint-Eustatius Tourism Development Foundation, STDF, is preparing to host a second major Eustatius Sustainable Conference and exhibition from September 25th to 27th, during which delegates will discuss critical issues relating to the island's sustainability. STDF, the agency responsible for the promotion and development of tourism on Sint-Eustatius, has announced the theme of the conference as Tourism and Water, Protecting Our Common Future. The conference will challenge tourism planners, policymakers, stakeholders, and the general public to develop and implement strategies and practices that can sustain Eustatius' limited resources. On a small island like ours, little changes can and will make a big difference, said Mike Hatterink, Sustainable Committee member. Thinking sustainable in every step forward will help to keep our island unique for generations to come. The conference will address a number of vital issues such as how the local community can benefit from engaging in sustainable practices. A number of experts have already confirmed their participation and will share their knowledge in areas such as coastal management, marine spatial planning and ballast water, how safe for oceans, and scrap metals to living reef, etc. Water is synonymous with life, especially on a small island such as Eustatius, where we are still very much dependent on rainwater. Every aspect of our economic development can be linked directly or indirectly to the availability of water, said Darlene Burkle, Sustainable Committee member. This conference is therefore vitally important since it provides an opportunity for us to focus our attention on this vital resource and explore ways to ensure sustainable sources of water, as well as efficient and effective ways of collecting, producing, and managing water, both for our own survival as well as for sustainable economic development. The conference will also feature an exhibition at which local businesses will get to display and sell their sustainable products. A meeting was held between the contractors on the island and Dutch representatives pertaining to the renovations projects of the schools on St. Eustatius. The renovation of all schools is expected to last for 4 years and funded by the Dutch Ministry of Education and the island government. Some of the schools are in very bad shape and need immediate repairs, said Commissioner of Education Carlisle Thea. One of his main concerns was the involvement of the local contractors being able to take part in these projects. This meeting was called to inform the local contractors as to what the possibilities were for them to take part. Some adjustments have been made to meet the level of contractors we have in order to give them a fair chance to take part in the projects, he said. The information was given and it is now up to the contractors to decide in what form they would move forward in taking part in executing these projects. Since 10-10-10, the criteria that were put in place made it difficult for the local contractors to be part of the projects funded by the Dutch government. And finally, in local news, Lynch Plantation Seventh-day Adventist School held its graduation on Sunday and award ceremony on Monday in the St. Eustatius SDA Church under the theme, Think, Believe, Strive, We Are Stars in the Making. The celebrations began with a consecration service on Friday, June 2nd, and a church service the next days for pupils and parents. Principal Laverne David Duggins gave her report on the outstanding development and growth of the graduating class from Cycle 1 to Cycle 2 and their results at their Grade 6 exams. The class really surprised us. Teachers who taught the graduates were also happy with their results. Pupils heading to Gwen Liverputton School are Valedictorian Jace Erickson and Marshanique Murray. Pupils for Skakel Class A are Lolian Bass, Belenia Bennett, Ayana David, Shadiq Harrigan, Chevron Schmidt, D'Angelo Queely, Kaisha Maynard, and Amalia Coutard. 3 students are heading to Skakel Class B, Rael Brown, Delvin Lake, and Raphael Schmidt. And 3 students heading to Skakel Class C, Amika Burkle, Alshanti Karti, and Zasharia Schmidt. Attending the ceremony were Governor Gerald Burkle and First Lady Camelia Burkle Dembrook, Commissioner of Education Carlisle Thea, Director of Education for the Northeastern Caribbean Conference of the Seventh-day Adventists, Jareen Joseph, Principal of GVP School, Elaine de Jong, School Coach Ninka, Keynote Speaker Ikerna Rivers, Remedial, and Pastors Royston Filbert and Halford Brown, and school board members, among others. Coming up next in regional news, Nevis Premier calls for outside assistance to tackle crime wave. Details in regional and later international news right after this.
The greatest gift of all.
Education is the #1 driving force in a successful future. But great parenting prepares a child for the challenges to come and motivates any child to accomplish and succeed. Be your child's role model and be the best parent you can be. Learn great parenting guides and strategies at www.parenting.org.
We are the children.
Motivate and educate.
So let's start giving. There's a choice we're making.
Coming soon to St. Eustatius, 3 daily flights to St. Kitts and return every week. Services to St. Martin via Anguilla with free stopover in Anguilla. Charter services will also be available. More information coming soon to CTC TV and CTC Radio. Brought to you by Trans Anguilla.
CTC News, sponsored by Utel NV, Kodo's Purchasing Services, and Duggins Shopping Center.
Nevis Premier Vance Amory has urged Prime Minister Dr. Denzel Douglas to seek outside help to tackle a crime wave that has already claimed 15 lives in the first 6 months of this year. Amory told WIN on Monday evening that his administration was working closely with local law enforcement agencies and plans to have island-wide consultations on the way forward. I have written to the Prime Minister, I have spoken to him today as well, and asked the Prime Minister to consider bringing in external assistance to find out or to do some on-the-ground checks to make sure that we can get to the root of the problem, Amory said. We are also looking this week at inviting leaders in the community, the opposition, church members, Christian Council, members of the private sector to sit with us in Nevis to discuss whatever strategies, whatever they think will be useful so that we can find a way of dealing with the situation. Nevis has had a record-breaking 7 homicides for the year. The highest number of the homicides that the island has previously ever recorded in a single year was 5. Amory is convinced that people in the communities have information that they are keeping to themselves, and he plans to increase surveillance and offer concessions to people buying security equipment. In our own case here, we have decided that we will provide duty concessions to any householder, any business place who wants to import and have installed security systems. We will grant no duty on that because we want people to feel safe in their homes. We want people to feel that they don't have to be looking over their shoulder. And also, we want to minimize the need for people to have guns in their possessions to protect themselves by providing an environment in which people can feel safe. The Premier said he wanted to send a clear signal that criminal activity would not be tolerated and those who committed crime would be prosecuted to the full extent of the law. The Windward Islands Banking Center opened on Wednesday afternoon to praises from various officials for its commitment to the country's economy, even in the tough economic times. The bank's dedication to employee training was also highlighted. Governor of St. Martin, Eugene Holliday, said the opening of the center was testimony of the financial and economic accomplishments of the bank and St. Martin and holds a major promise for future opportunities and growth. The governor symbolically opened the banking center by cutting the red, white, and blue ribbon across the front door with an extra large pair of scissors. WIB's decision to invest in the new building was a renewal of its commitment to the country as the decision was taken during the global financial crisis amidst uncertain and fragile economic prospects. This commitment will contribute to strengthen the economic recovery and future growth of our island, he said. President and Chief Executive Officer of the Madura and Curiels Group, parent company of WIB, Lionel Chico Capriles, said the center represents WIB as a true partner of the country. The bank has some 980 million guilders in total assets and more than 90,000 customers in the Windward Islands. WIB is proud of its continued commitment to downtown Phillipsburg. The bank's board of directors and shareholders met on Thursday to officially nominate and approve Derek Downs as the new WIB managing director. He will replace Jan Bujon, who is retiring at month's end. Bujon recalled the beginnings of the bank from a small space in the Lido bar on the now Cyrus Watty Square with one teller to the giant of the local banking industry that has grown with technological advances. He expressed the hope that WIB's investment in Phillipsburg will inspire other businesses to do the same. And now in international news, world's first go-ahead for 3-parent IVF babies in the UK. Britain is planning to become the first country in the world to offer controversial 3-parent fertility treatments to families who want to avoid passing on incurable diseases to their children. The methods, currently only at the research stage in laboratories in Britain and the United States, would for the first time involve implanting genetically modified embryos into women and raise serious ethical questions. The techniques involve intervening in the fertilization process to remove faulty mitochondrial DNA, which can cause inherited conditions such as fatal heart problems, liver failure, brain disorders, blindness, and muscular dystrophy. They are designed to help families with mitochondrial diseases, incurable conditions passed down the maternal line that affect around 1 in 6,500 children worldwide. After a national public consultation showed Britons broadly favor the idea, the government's chief physician said on Friday it should be allowed to go ahead under strict regulation. Scientists are researching several 3-parent IVF techniques, one being developed at Britain's Newcastle University, known as pro-nuclear transfer, swaps DNA between 2 fertilized human eggs. Another, called maternal spindle transfer, swaps material between the mother's egg and a donor egg before fertilization. A British medical ethics panel, which reviewed the potential treatments for mitochondrial diseases, decided last year they were ethical and should go ahead as long as research shows they are likely to be safe and effective. Because Britain is in the vanguard of this research, ethical concerns, political decisions, and scientific advances here are closely watched around the world, particularly in the United States, where scientists are also working on DNA swap techniques. Some pro-life campaigners have criticized the scientific research, saying that creating embryonic children in a lab abuses them by subjecting them to unnatural processes. Critics also worry that modifying embryos to avoid disease could be the first step towards the creation of designer babies whose genetic makeup could be modified as embryos to ensure certain traits such as height or hair color. And that was it for our local, regional, and international news stories for this evening. Coming up next, your 3-day weather forecast for the islands of Statia, Saba, and St. Martin. Stay tuned for weather details after the break.
The greatest gift of all.
Education is the #1 driving force in a successful future. But great parenting prepares a child for the challenges to come and motivates any child to accomplish and succeed. Be your child's role model and be the best parent you can be. Learn great parenting guides and strategies at www.parenting.org.
Beyond the children.
Motivate and educate.
So let's start giving. There's a choice we're making.
Coming soon to St. Eustatius, 3 daily flights to St. Kitts and return every week. Services to St. Martin via Anguilla with free stopover in Anguilla. Charter services will also be available. More information coming soon to CTC TV and CTC Radio. Brought to you by Trans Anguilla.
CTC News, sponsored by Utel NV, Kodo's Purchasing Services, and Duggings Shopping Center.
Welcome back, and now for your 3-day weather forecast. We'll begin on Statia, Saba. Tonight, Friday, June 28th, late showers, temperatures of 88 degrees Fahrenheit, 50% chances of rain with the winds east at 17 miles per hour. Tomorrow on Saturday, June 29th, scattered showers, temperatures ranging around 84 degrees Fahrenheit, 50% chances of rain with the winds east at 19 miles per hour. On Sunday, June 30th, scattered showers, temperatures of 84 degrees Fahrenheit, 50% chances of rain with the winds east at 20 miles per hour. And now on to St. Martin. Tonight, Friday, June 28th, late showers, temperatures of 88 degrees Fahrenheit, 50% chances of rain with the winds east at 12 miles per hour. Tomorrow, Saturday, June 29th, scattered showers, temperatures of 86 degrees Fahrenheit, 50% chances of rain with winds east at 14 miles per hour. Then on Sunday, June 30th, scattered showers, temperatures of 86 degrees Fahrenheit, 50% chances of rain with winds east-southeast at 14 miles per hour. And that was another edition of CTC News Live. CTC News broadcasts live 3 times weekly on Monday, Wednesdays, and Friday. We will be back on Monday with more local, regional, and international news stories. Thanks once again for joining us. Until next time, do have a good one.